Hello, I'm Jim Morningstar, Director of Transformations and your guide through this 8-session advanced practicum and apprenticeship in community building. In this class, I will present 2 points of view around the integrative teachings of spirituality from a Christian, Western, and a Buddhist, Eastern perspective. Then I will share my approach to integrative psychology, which is experiential. Love is who you are. The first integrative approach to spirituality, which has influenced me greatly, is the love-centered teachings of Yahshua. These do not come from culturally based Christianity. They are more inclusive and holistic in their orientation. Here are some of these teachings about love as who you are, the very substance of being itself, not a commodity you can gain or lose. Yes, you can acknowledge and own your source or reject and forget it. This is the power of who we are as divine beings, children of God, as it were, rather than just creatures of God. When we choose love, we release the anxiety of trying to earn it. When we live the love we are, we re-own the power to manifest in alignment with Source at will. Here are quotes by Yahshua from Love Without End by Glenda Green. We have drifted so far away from the source of our being that we think of ourselves as separate from love. One of the main causes for this unfortunate occurrence is that we try to know ourselves through mirrored images. We seek to gain self-understanding through feedback, evaluation, and opinion. Yahshua called these reflectance. If one fully comprehends why a flame cannot step aside to see itself burn, and why water cannot see itself flow, then one can also appreciate his own eternal mystery. Surrendering to that mystery will yield more wisdom than any reflection full of illusion could ever reveal. Once this is accepted and experienced in good faith, there'll be no further need for external formulations of self-worth. He stated, "You seek to know love by your own efforts and the efforts of others in turn. So you've learned to think of love as an action, an external thing. It's even bartered as a commodity. Such ideas of viewing love externally have led you to judgment and separation from the true source of love and your own higher nature. The truest way to know your love is not by reflectance, but by the joy you feel in being yourself. That joy is the soul's pleasure in the presence of love incarnate. Whatever you experience as joy is the cup of your love overflowing. By your joy, you shall know your love and the nature of your soul as it casts your love upon the waters of life." Now, this is truly profound and life-changing if you feel it in your heart rather than take it as an interesting hypothesis. We know our true essence by the joy we feel in being ourselves, not the pain we've accumulated and the false identities we've taken on as a result of our history. This can set us off in a direction of finding the joy in everything given us each day rather than trying to see what is wrong or dangerous in every circumstance so we can avoid pain. It's our choice to see life as a treasure hunt or an obstacle course full of hidden dangers. Again, love is not something that can be forced or manipulated. It is not something to be frivolously called forth, except by the very will of love itself. Love is a power beyond our ability to control, although by understanding the power of love, we are given command of life. In love's presence, we experience true humility and stand in awe of its power. Love's expressions can never be fully predicted. Yet it's important to accept love as it unfolds, even when it seems to be taken away from you for a while. This happens so that you will search for the beloved within yourself and within the hearts of your other brothers and sisters. If all you know of the beloved is one person, then where would there be a place for anyone else? Even if your only love were God, everyone else would so fall short that you would do nothing but judge. You'll be given a taste of love and then allowed to hunger for a while so that you will seek for love within yourself and within greater and greater stretches of reality. It is not the will of God that you should live within limiting, self-possessed bubbles, but rather that you have all of reality for your playground. So the game of life is like the most primitive game of peekaboo, over which children squeal with delight. Where did Daddy go? There he is. Where did Daddy go? There he is. So we continuously become enlightened and then forget. This is because we experience life through our mind, which is always in, on, and off categories. When we come to see life continuously with holy vision through our heart, there is no on and off. There are simply infinite ways of creating with love. The passions of higher love. Highest meaning is in reference to a sacred bond joining the immortal soul with the sacred heart. This is a yearning deep within our being, a seeking for the soul's fulfillment, quite like that of searching for one's life mate. In hopes that your true love is somewhere, you seek with all your heart to find that special person. After finding each other and falling in love, the agony of separation can be simply overwhelming. At last, there is recognition, but no lasting attainment until there is a soul marriage. Even then, from time to time, the two are apart and experience the yearning for blessed reunion. What a wonderful way of declaring the true love between the Sacred Heart and the soul. Yahshua described the Sacred Heart as the feminine presence of divinity and the soul as the masculine presence of divinity. Both incarnate within each person as the very power of supplying life. This image allows us to see each loving the other forever as bride and groom, each seeking to know the other's passion throughout eternity. This is the holy vision which we practice in our therapeutic breathwork training. The first principle is, be the love that you are. You see, when you are being the love you are also being the child of God that you are. You are being the likeness of God, presence here upon the earth to forward the creation of your source in whatever situations you find yourself. This causes immediate changes in your outlook and performance. The first thing that happens is that you rise above the problems facing you. This is critical to success because no problem is solved at the level at which it's created. Einstein said this. The solution to every problem is to be found at a level that is slightly or even greatly above the conflicting perceptions. As long as you are eye to eye with your difficulty, you will fight the problem rather than resolve it. When you are being the love that you are, you will realize that the secret of success already exists in the nature of your beingness. Solutions to problems, answers to prayers, and revelations of purpose already exist. It's your duty and challenge to make yourself available to receive them. Experimenting with embracing love as who you are rather than as something you have, take Class 3, Handout 1, Love is Who I Am. Section 1, As Love, A. My heart's desire for myself in taking this course is, and B. What I want most to share with others in taking this course is. Section 2, A. A time in my life when just being the love that I am is what made a positive difference in another's life was. B. A time when someone else being the love who they are made a positive difference in my life was. Section 3. In the name of love, A. What I'm willing to repair in my life is, and a step I will take in this is. B. What I'm willing to continue in my life is, and a step I will take in this is. And C. What I'm willing to create in my life is, and a step I will take in this is. As you breathe into your heart, complete Handout 1 and return to the video. Love is the magnetic force that holds the universe together. It's not a sentimental emotion. Yahshua explains, love commands the universe. Humans resort to control only when love is missing. Control is a very shabby substitute for command, and it's an enormously exhausting pursuit. One of the most refreshing realizations that you may have in being the love that you are is the greater feeling of restfulness. In a world obsessed with control, it's difficult to find even a moment's rest. In many ways, control is a competition for dominance of time and timing. As you command with love, you will notice that the timing of your life will be much more consistent with your own purpose and true nature. When you command, you can also rest. This is the importance of the biblical reference to God resting on the Sabbath. Now, I fully realize that this Western imagery and approach may not appeal to everyone. So let's look at an Eastern approach up the mountain of spiritual enlightenment. The Buddhist teaching of Zen ox herding. Spiritual fulfillment is a journey undertaken by humans from time immemorial. It will help us put our personal journey in context by showing the parallels to one of the venerable traditions of our world cultures, which has preserved its version of this journey in written and oral forms. Taming the Ox, as it's called, is a succinct Zen Buddhist guide to common stages humans traverse on the path to union with Source or enlightenment. It surveys 10 stages of enlightenment as it often unfolds in a human life, although not necessarily in this order or with this timing. In this teaching, the ox is a symbol for enlightenment, the goal of Buddhist studies. It's believed that the ox symbol was chosen due to the East Indians' reverence for cows, which are considered sacred. What is enlightenment? Instead of being an experience, enlightenment transcends all experiences, all duality. Enlightenment is the full, embodied, and abiding realization that while the forms of this world are ever-changing, something lasting and infinite persists, uniting everything. Separation is seen as an illusion. All forms have this, quotes Buddha nature, arising and returning to it, never apart from it. The enlightened person is perpetually in touch with this eternal source. The journey towards enlightenment begins by seeing the world as mundane and made up of separate forms. It culminates with the realization that nothing is mundane or separate. all is unified. Oneness. It is said that each of the 10 phases of Zen ox herding can take years or lifetimes, but in rare cases, minutes, hours, or days. Stage 1, seeking the ox. All people are already, quotes, seeking the ox, that is, searching for fulfillment and happiness in their work, relationships, and other worldly pursuits. This is the inalienable right to the, quotes, pursuit of happiness as stated in the U.S. Constitution. It is this inner drive which leads us up the pyramid of happiness to find meaning and purpose in our lives. It is the impetus which leads us home. So take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 1, and make a brief note of how you pursued happiness before you put it in a spiritual or purposeful context. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 2, finding the tracks. Now, in this phase, the insight dawns that all worldly forms come and go, leaving just fleeting satisfaction. Something more lasting is sought. When we've satiated ourselves relentlessly on the first level of the pyramid of happiness with sensual pleasures, or even when we have devoted ourselves to employing our signature strengths to get gratification, the second level of the pyramid of happiness, we realize that all forms which deliver this happiness come and go, leaving an empty feeling. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 2, and make a brief note of when you became aware of the futile nature of continuous pleasure-seeking and that you were interested in something beyond this. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 3, first glimpse of the ox. This refers to a person's first, quotes, spiritual experience, or satori, flash of insight. It can take the form of an epiphany, oneness awareness while out in nature, a near-death experience, or kundalini during meditation. The, quotes, glimpse makes an impact and inspires us to continue on the journey. This whets our appetite to seek the conditions which will more likely promote the chances of increasing these happenings. For example, reading books, going to classes, retreats, workshops, the company of like-spirited others, etc. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 3, and make a brief note of one of your first awakenings to what is beyond consensus reality. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 4, catching the ox. Now, at this stage, changes in focus and life structure are inevitable. One begins to lose attachment to material things and may change their job, relationships, or other circumstances to make their spiritual journey a priority. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 4, and make a brief note of what you did to put your life on a more conscious spiritual path. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 5, taming the ox. The seeker becomes aware that there is a watcher dimension within them that is independent of thoughts, perceptions, and emotions. It is the space from which all I thoughts arise. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 5, and make a brief note of when you became aware of the, quotes, watcher that was beyond your monkey mind or default mode network in your brain. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 6, riding the ox home. This watcher dimension grows stronger as the advancing practitioner is no longer ruled by the mind, thoughts, ego, and who they thought they were. We may have thoughts and emotions, but we become less and less prone to being swept away by the quotes monkey mind or identifying with it. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 6. Make a brief note of what you did in your life to strengthen the quotes watcher or benevolent observer dimension in yourself. For example, mindfulness training, meditation, etc. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 7. Ox forgotten, self alone. We realize that we are not apart from our watcher dimension, true nature, or oneness. The seeker, the seeking, and the sought are all the same energy field, and therefore one and the same. However, we may still experience ourselves as a separate being. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 7, and make a brief note of any experience you have had of being the energy field beyond your body or ego, even if this was a very fleeting or fragmentary experience. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 8. Both ox and self forgotten. Separateness and duality evaporate as we see ourselves and all things as part of the all that is, the oneness. It is a visceral experience, not just a concept or an idea. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 8, and make a brief note of any experience you've had of being one with everything, even if this was very fleeting or fragmentary. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 9. Returning to the source. While oneness is seen as the source of all that is, forms were thought to emerge and return to oneness instead of being continuously synonymous with it. In this phase, the linear time illusion construct dissolves. Past, present, future, and all forms are appreciated as the timeless now of oneness. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 9, and make a brief note of any experience you've had of being the timeless now, even if this was very fleeting or fragmentary. Complete this and return to the video. Stage 10. Entering the marketplace with helping hands. The enlightened, quotes, person, unified being, is now the embodiment of awakened consciousness and returns to the, quotes, mundane life, knowing that nothing is mundane. All is oneness at all points in time and space. Bliss, gratitude, and unconditional love prevail. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 10, and make a brief note of any experience you have had of experiencing being no thing, while bliss, gratitude, and unconditional love prevail. Again, even if this was just a very fleeting or fragmentary experience. Complete this and return to the video. The Buddhist teaching of enlightenment overlaps with Christianity in that both emphasize being, quotes, in the world, but not of the world. After enlightenment, the forms of the world are appreciated with no attachment or aversion. Love and deep compassion reign. And while samsara, reincarnation, ends, many choose to help others become enlightened, the bodhisattva path. Take Class 3, Handout 2, Section 11, and make a brief note of how you have been dedicated in your life in supporting others in their returning to Source or enlightenment. even if you haven't fully realized how you've been doing this until now. Complete this and return to the video. In our School of Integrative Psychology, completing a 3-day Enlightenment intensive was part of the curriculum. The intensive supported everyone to hold the question, "Who am I?" for 3 days during every moment, waking and sleeping, and to communicate their experience of their truth, not thoughts about it, to partners at specific exercise periods, facilitating a breakthrough to pure experience beyond the mind or body states. For many, this was a life-changing event that shattered the illusion of separation forever. That is not to say we didn't fall back into acting as separate beings, but we can no longer deny the truth of what we fully experienced beyond this illusion. Most of us have been on the road to consciously making this a steady state in our existence ever since. It's my contention that each of us watching this video have had experiences of each of these steps on the journey to living in light during our lives. But few have been supported in putting them into a coherent narrative with the tools to achieve a more everyday state of oneness with Source. That is the point of taking this course and preparing to share this journey in the ways to which we are called as community builders. It was the support of community which led me to participate in these intensives every month for over a year, and then later to incorporate them to be taught every 2 years in our School of Integrative Psychology. Holding you in my heart as fellow travelers on the road home, I send and receive blessings for our circle and all sentient beings. Till next class, blessings in light and love.